Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 Browns late games preview show and NFL Week 13 early games update show. We'll go over today's Browns game and all of uh, today's early game action. Uh, but first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. Browns NFL Week 13 trivia question. It's a Rams trivia question. How many yards did Rams running back Eric Dickerson gain per carry in 1984? I will have the answer later in the podcast. It's Week 13 of the NFL regular season, and the Browns take on the LA Rams in a late afternoon game at SoFi Stadium at 4:25 on Fox. That's when kickoff is. Uh, Joe Flacco, who signed with the Browns practice squad just a couple of weeks ago, uh, will be getting a start for the Browns today at quarterback for the Browns today. Uh, and We'll be getting a start at quarterback for the Browns today in place of rookie quarterback Dorian Thompson Robinson due to a concussion injury he suffered in the 29 to 12 loss to Denver last week in Week 12. Flacco's last start and game action came in Week 18 of last season when he and the New York Jets lost to the Miami Dolphins 11-6. Consequently, Flacco's last win as a starter was last season uh, against uh, against the Browns, leading the Jets to a Chiotech 31-30 comeback win in Week 2. One of his Jets teammates was wide receiver Elijah Moore, who's now the Browns' number 2 wide receiver. Uh, the 38-year-old Flacco will begin his 16th season of his career, which was highlighted by 11 years with the Baltimore Ravens that included a Super Bowl 52 win in which he was named MVP. Flacco was with the Denver Broncos in 2019 and the Jets from 2020 until last year. Now he's set to start his game days with the Browns. And uh, the Cleveland Browns will have their fourth string quarterback, as I mentioned, of the fourth starting quarterback of the season, excuse me. When they faced the Los Angeles Rams, four quarterbacks started a game for the Rams last season. Sean McVay wouldn't recommend it. The coach also realizes the adversity of 2022 played a role in his team's rebound to the playoff contention this year. You can't establish grit unless you go through real challenging experiences, McVay said. I can't speak for other people, but I do know that I was spoiled a lot with of the good things early in my career, and adversity forces you to continue to grow and mature as a leader. That might not be much comfort to Cleveland. Coach Kevin Stefanski and the Browns, who are now 7-4 in the season, who will have Joe Flacco, as I mentioned, behind center on Sunday after a week of training in the Southern California sun. Cleveland will attempt to avoid its first losing streak of a season that's going remarkably well, considering the turmoil at quarterback. Across the league, and this year is no different, there's a lot of backup quarterbacks that are playing, Stefanski said. We're no different, and we have a certain standard that we play by as an offense, as a team, and it doesn't really change based on who's in there. With the 38-year-old Flacco making his first start since closing out the 2022 season for the New York Jets, Cleveland will lean on its powerhouse defense to shut down the Rams, who are 5-6, whose hopes of an unlikely playoff run probably hinge on the health of Matthew Stafford. Uh, the veteran's injured thumb is getting better, and he's excited by LA's 2 week surge in the postseason conversation. Cleveland's defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, was Stafford's head coach for his first 5 seasons in Detroit. Uh, uh, really, all phases on Cleveland's defense, making it an uncomfortable day for the quarterback, both in what they're giving to you, luck-wise, and also just the challenges they present personnel-wise as well, Stafford said. Safety John Johnson is back with the Rams after spending the past 2 seasons with Cleveland, which cut him last March. Johnson was drafted by the Rams, and he was reclaimed as a prominent role this month. The hard-hitting Johnson's role changed when he changed teams, and many observers thought he wasn't suited to his coverage, heavy responsibilities in Cleveland. I felt like I stayed stagnant, if anything, Johnson said. It didn't really take off. My game didn't elevate. I was just like in limbo, kind of. I just did what I am told. Just me thinking about it now, I feel like I probably could have done some things differently, but uh, the past is in the past. Now, the Browns have spent the entire season on crutches, but while the offense absorbed most of the major early injuries, Cleveland's top-ranked defense has been feeling it the past 2 weeks. All-Pro defensive end Myles Garrett played much of last week with one arm after hurting his left shoulder, which he originally hurt last season when he flipped his Porsche following practice. Fortunately, Garrett, who is having his best season, didn't sustain any new structural damage. His teammates are confident he'll be on the field with them on Sunday. He's Superman, cornerback Greg Newsome said. We're never too worried about Myles. Before last week's game, Garrett joked that everything hurts this time of the season, and the 28-year-old blamed his aches on being just old. The Browns won't have star cornerback Denzel Ward for the second straight week because of his shoulder injury. Ward's absence was felt from the outset as Cleveland's secondary seemed out of sorts without him. Kyrene's friends, running back Kyrene Williams is having a breakout season for the Rams with 3 100-yard performances in the past 4 games, including the last 2. Williams is appropriately weary of Cleveland's vaunted defense. Even if it gave up 169 yards rushing to Denver last week, he's looking forward to the chance to fight off tackle attempts by Newsome, a close friend, and linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who is his teammate for 2 seasons at Notre Dame. And no matter how the game goes, Williams is planning a post-game jersey swap with Owusu-Koramoah. I am going to let him know early before I start getting to him. I'm going to need that jersey, Williams said with a grin. During the extended stay in Los Angeles, the Browns met with some local basketball royalty, not LeBron James. Legendary Lakers guard and Hall of Famer Jerry West spoke with Cleveland's players who were struck by the 85-year-old's presence and passion. It was great, said All-Pro left guard Joel Bitonio, a California native who grew up rooting for the Lakers. His illustrations career as a player an executive in the NBA is second to none. He said he hates losing more than he loves winning, said Newsom. So a guy like that, you definitely learn a lot from. Beyond being a 14-time All-Star, one of the NBA's all-time best players, and the silhouetted image for the league's iconic logo, West was also the architect of the powerhouse Showtime Lakers teams in the 1980s. West's visit with the team at UCLA was made possible through Stefanski's father, Ed, a longtime NBA executive. West told the players he grew up in West Virginia as a Browns fan. Bitonio said West's message centered on togetherness. The overall picture was just being a good teammate, playing for your guys, executing and having a bigger purpose out there. Bitonio said it was very cool. He's getting up there in age, uh, but he's still sharp and it's still really cool to hear a legend. And I think the key to this game today for the Browns is really putting the stopping quarterback Matthew Stafford and running back Kyrie Williams. They need to gang up on him and keep Aaron Donald from getting in the end zone and scoring. And so those are I think today's those are the keys to beating the Rams. And if now we'll talk more about this in just a sec, but right now it's time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 Week 13 trivia question. And it's a Browns trivia question. It's a Rams trivia question who the Browns opponent is going to be today. And how many yards did Rams running back Eric Dickerson gain per carry in 1984? And if you said 5.6, you are correct. 5.6, Dickerson's 5.6 yards per carry led the Rams to a playoff berth in 1984. I'll have another trivia question on my next podcast, which will be for Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football on that pregame show tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Time right now for the picks of the week. And going back to Thursday, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Seattle Seahawks 41-35 in a heck of a game. My brother-in-law Eric Hoyle and I both took the Cowboys. We're both 1-0 right now. Right now, the Houston Texans are playing the Denver Broncos at NRG Stadium in Houston, and they are up 22-17 in the fourth quarter with 10:28 to go. First and 10 at the Denver 32, and Denver has the ball. And I took Houston, and my brother-in-law took the Texans as well. The Atlanta Falcons are taking on the New York Jets. They're up 13-8 in the fourth quarter, 13:06 to go. First and 10 at the Jets 19. Jets have the ball. I took Atlanta, and so did my brother-in-law. He also took Atlanta. The Detroit Lions are up in the New Orleans Saints at Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, and it's fourth quarter, 10:23 left to go. Third and 17 at the New Orleans 48. The Saints have the ball, and 33-21, and the Saints are starting to get back in this game, and Detroit does not want to let that happen. The Indianapolis Colts are now up 25-19 on the Tennessee Titans. Fourth quarter, 10:06 to go. Second and 5 at the Tennessee 41. The Titans have the ball. For the Lions Saints game, I took the Lions. So did my brother-in-law. And for this game, I took the Colts. So did my brother-in-law. He took the Colts. The Miami Dolphins are beating the Washington Commanders at FedEx Field, 38-15, fourth quarter, 3:22 to go, and it's a third and goal at the Washington 5. Miami has the ball, and And I took Miami, and so did my brother-in-law. He took Miami as well. The Pittsburgh, I mean, the Arizona Cardinals are battling the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, and it has resumed, but it's been suspended again. Cardinals are up 17-3, and they have resumed playing at 3:20, but then I think the heavy rain started again, so we'll have to wait and see if it will resume anytime soon today. So, uh, but it's 17-3 Arizona, and in the late games, the Carolina and I took Pittsburgh, and so did my brother-in-law. He also took Pittsburgh, so that was another one we agreed on. Oh my God! The Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Bucks will take on the Tampa Bay Bucks at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay, and I took Tampa Bay, and so did my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle. The Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers will square off at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. I took San Francisco. I took the Philadelphia Eagles. So did my brother-in-law. Sunday Night Football. The Kansas City Chiefs will play the Green Bay Packers at legendary Lambeau Field in Green Bay. I took KC, and so did my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle. Monday Night Football. Jacksonville Jaguars are in Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I took Jacksonville, and so did my brother Eric Hoyle. One game, and that takes place today at 4:25. The Browns and Rams, and at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. And I took the Browns because I have a hunch they're going to get the win. But my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle took the Rams. That's the only one that we don't agree on. We tied in the picks last week. And I do feel that the Browns are going to have to jump on the Rams early if they want to get the win in this game today. But if Flacco can find Elijah Moore or Amari Cooper or Myles Garrett open, I feel that he can have a good game. And I feel that the Browns can get the win and go to 8-4 this season. So we'll see what happens when that game gets underway at 4:25. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scout Sports 101 Browns preview show and NFL early games and late games preview show as well. An NFL early games update show. I'll be back with the early and late games post game show later on today. Once all the games and the early and late games have concluded, and after I get back, because I'm going to be out for a while. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.